great numbers, I suppose, in terms of revenues, blah, blah, blah. But what about profits? You kept that sort of below the radar, but you are profitable now, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, in terms of profitability, we've been profitable for the last, 10 quarters. So I think this is a huge improvement for us because with the fuel environment where it is moving up about, 33%, we still managed to make a profit, which is really important for us. I think one of the key things is just making sure that we remain a very cost-conscious airline. So we've done that.
Benjamin, you say in your press release that this is a commendable set of earnings. Surely other people would be the judge of that. We've had at least one downgrade today. One of the big headwinds will be the oil price. How are you mitigating that? How are you hedging at the moment? And what effect will it have on the next quarter?
Well, in terms of fuel, I think, it's been very moving up and down for the last, 6 months. And I think, where the market seems to think that it may be going down again, I think it's just overstated now in the market in terms of all the issues that you have in Iran and every other country. So I think for us is, we remain moderate in hedging. We're hedged about 12 to 14% because we believe that the fuel may come down. But the most important thing is really to make sure that our yields and our fares and also our loads are up, and that's important. And I think load factors up probably about up to 84%. And I think going into second quarter, we're trying to push that higher. I think the key thing is just to fill the planes and just try to run at a very, very cost efficiency kind of operations, and we've done that. So I'm pretty happy with the results this quarter.
I don't want to get into politics, but do you think any change in government that is going to affect your policies, not in Thailand, but in Malaysia in particular?
No, for us it's business as usual. I mean, I think different governments, you just have to make sure that you lobby the same things. We're pretty vocal in the things that we want in terms of making sure that we operate in the best of airports at the lowest cost of the environment, and really that's important for us. And I think that what we want to focus on is to make sure that passengers pay the lowest fares as well. So we want to make sure that we provide that to everybody.
Ben, are you saying that this really historic shift in political circumstance in Malaysia is not going to have any business impact or the way that you conduct business?
No, not at the moment. I mean, I think we just have to treat it positively. I mean, again, we like I said earlier, I mean, I think that we have a set of goals that we want to target. Like I said, we want to make sure that we still will continue to push for lower PSC airport charges and landing charges, and that's going to still be our vision, whether it's new or old government. I think that our mandate is still there within the organization, and we will continue to push. So, I mean, that's my focus, and that's what's my role as a job to do for this year.
But I want to get back on the topic of these ever high oil prices. We spoke with the Ryanair CEO, Michael O'Leary, overnight, and he said with oil at $80 a barrel, you're going to see a lot of, in particular, European carriers start to go bust. What sort of a restructuring effect do you see for the industry if prices continue to go to 80, to go past 80?
Well, the good thing about us is, we've been in the business for about, 10 years. And I guess 3-4 years ago when I came to the job, fuel was at about 140 and 150, and we still weathered that. And it's only at 80 to 90. I think the thing about European market is, there are a lot of new carriers just started with only 3 or 4 aircrafts. And it's difficult, really to move and even operate in that kind of environment with competitors like Ryan and EasyJet with 200 to 300 aircrafts. I mean, we're the market leader in terms of the long-haul, low-cost market, and we still continue to be number one, where we will push that. So, and the good thing is we're filling up the aircraft. It's difficult. I would say it would be more difficult if we weren't filling it up. But I think, at 84% load factor, that's important. So for us, fuel we'll manage. We still haven't really introduced fuel surcharge or any such. We're still relying on just really low cost operations, and that's what we're doing. So I'm quite happy.
I want to talk about the competition, right? It's a tough market, particularly here in Asia. How are yields faring for you guys?
No, I think for us, I think 2 years ago it was a bit more difficult, when, Malaysian Airlines and the other carriers were really going out there to really win market share. But I think now all the 3 airlines now are focusing, making sure that their bottom lines are protected and really focusing on niche markets. And I think, I think Malaysian Airlines as well is being more rational than they used to be many years ago. So I think in the environment now, I think for us is to make sure that we fly to as many destinations as we can and build market share. So, so pretty rational market, I would say.
The Norwegian Air is one which people have been lauding as being showing a sustainable long-haul model, even long-haul low-cost model. Michael O'Leary, I think Heidi was alluding to, saying that they're going to go bust in 12 months. What separates you from a company like that one in terms of long-haul low-cost? How do you differentiate yourself? I know you're not in competition, but what lessons have they learned, and what lessons can they learn from you?
Well, I think the key important thing is, I mean, Norwegian is a good airline, but I think they're strictly just a long-haul airline, and the long-haul airlines that they go into, the markets that they go to, they do not have a feeder. I mean, the good thing, the beauty about AirAsia is, we're a long-haul airline, but when we come into Kuala Lumpur, we feed into the short haul, and the short haul has close to about 200 aircrafts feeding ASEAN and Southeast Asia and such. So really, I think that's important for us. And to have AirAsia and us and AirAsia Indonesia, AirAsia Thailand as a market feeding into this, it's important. And you can't rely 100% on just point to point. Like Norwegian flies from London to Singapore, and it's basically just point. They don't have any onwards traffic. So that is difficult for them. And for us, we have that growing in Kuala Lumpur as a hub for us.
Very quickly here, Ben, what about expansion, further expansion into Europe? Any plans very quickly?
Not in the next year. We're waiting for the new aircrafts probably towards the tail of end of next year. So once that comes in, we'll evaluate. So probably I'll give it another year and a half before we go into Europe.